That's that's kind of a unicorn, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like Rolling Stones is like, or Aerosmith. These bands that aren't realistic. Like,
Uh,
um, so I've been thinking more about like for my personal career. I mean, I finally quit my day job and I'm calling myself a drummer,
right.
but
There you go.
all my apples are still in one basket, and that's not a great career move for personally. Like I should be here. I am shooting myself, but basically, when I grow up, I want to be Corey, basically. And so, how do you put yourself? How do you leverage yourself to be that guy? Because I don't have. I'm like, well, hands down, I'm not near as good as you.
Oh
I
man.
can keep beats and stuff like that.
Hey,
And
I think the first step is you got to start tanning more. After that, I don't know.
you know, it's funny.
You're
man.
also you have to shave your head, Daryl.
Shave your
Yeah.
head. Yeah. It start talking like a Californian, you know. But
dude,
yeah, I've had a few people ask me that, and it's funny how people perceive things when, you know, it's so different from how I perceive things, because I do acknowledge that, like, I do.
before you move forward there, I was on the Aquarian site yesterday, and there your mug was, and it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome, man.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Really good bio you have on there.
Oh, nice. Okay, so that's a perfect example. Is like, I don't really think about stuff like that. You know, I don't get my drum heads for free, even though my face is on the website. I still pay for them.
Yeah.
I get them obviously discounted, and I get more support in different ways. But but that's kind of what people outside see, right? And so people are like, dude, Corey's this like A-level, you know, top level working millionaire drummer or something. I don't know what people think about how much money I make, but so the truth is, though, like, you know, I do have to think about that kind of stuff more, that like I get to work as a drummer, and at this point now I'm 42 years old, and I've been doing this for a long time. And then it's kind of like I built a reputation, but I also live in an area, like I live in San Diego, where it's very easy to work as a musician if you can get in the circles, you know? But what I'm meaning to say is, dude, I live a pretty simple life. Like, I don't own a house. I live like in an apartment, you know, a guest house, like kind of apartment. I do have a nice studio, but I share it with 4 other guys, you know, and like, I do live like a pretty simple life where I don't have to make like millions of dollars to sustain myself, right? And I made the decision a long time ago, like years ago, probably like 17 years ago now, that if I work as hard as I work towards my regular job that I had, if I work this hard, I was pouring my heart into construction and trying to get a contractor's license, and I was leading 20 guys, and like I was like the foreman on my jobs and an installer for carpet, and I just hated it. I was like, this isn't what I should be doing, and this isn't sustainable on my body. Like I'm abusing my body every day. And so I just kind of started thinking, you know, if I work as hard as I'm working towards this, and I put in the effort towards what I actually love to do, I feel like I could be successful. And so I just kind of, I don't know, I kind of had to experience going on tour and not making any money, and kind of, you know, coming home and having to hustle. And that kind of just put things into perspective of like, if I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I take recording session gigs and I take regular gigs, I mean, it got to where I was like, I had to take any gig that would come my way, anything. If I was, you know, I always tell the story of like coming home off of like in years like 2006 or something. My band was opening for that band Madness in the UK, and we were playing arenas every day. And it was the biggest tour of my life, man. We were just, it was 20,000 people a night. And that was the hungriest I've ever been on tour. That's the least amount of money I've ever made on tour. That's the worst I've been treated on tour by the headlining band. but we were playing the biggest shows. So everybody there saw us and thought we were like these rich musicians playing the biggest shows in our life. And then I would come home from that tour and I would tell my mom, you know, like, hey, I played Wembley Arena tonight or last night or whatever, you know, and my mom was just like, yeah, that's great. You know, like, and then it was like, I'm playing the local bar the next night, you know what I mean? And so that kind of put things into perspective as a musician, where it's like, sometimes you're going to be playing the best gigs of your life and sometimes you're going to be playing the worst gigs of your life, but it's all to make a living and kind of you know, make a pile of how you make your money. And so now it is a little different where I'm a little bit more I pick and choose kind of more of what I want. I've been turning down a lot more gigs than I should, but I'm trying to hold a standard of like, this is where I'm at and this is what I should be doing. It is a lot of mindset stuff that you already do. But what I would say, Daryl, is that you are already, you don't have to say when you grow up, you want to be me. That's like, you already are doing it. You already are a successful musician. You already have made that decision to pursue that, but you have other things to put in the mix that you do that goes right along with it, where you can use your drumming skills and your drumming knowledge to, really like have a strong presence and a strong career. Your message, that's very important part of it. And your story of recovery and all of that is a very important part of it. You have all the boxes ticked, man. You should just don't hold back and go for it, man. And people listen when you're talking. You have a presence, you have a look, you know, and that's a big deal. So go for it.
I would also say, Daryl, more so than anything else, man, you have the temperament to be a musician. You have the ability to be in a space with other people and be able to get along with them. I don't know how many like other musicians you've like spent a lot of time with, but some cats are just absolutely insufferable. And it doesn't matter how good they are or how much they play, or, you know, if you can't get along with people, if you're not a pleasure to be around, then you're not going to work. And you've got all that going for you, man. People are going to want, like, once you find the people that hire you for the first time, they'll continue to hire you because you're a person who's worth being around. You know what I mean? You're a pleasant person to be around. And that's probably 75% of what I think about if I'm ever like, okay, I need to hire somebody for a job, you know, who am I going to get? It's like, oh, do I get the baddest cat I know, or do I get the guy who's going to, you know, make this work?
You know what, too, man? Like,
who's going to, you know,
yeah. The one other thing I'll say is it is not about skills. As much as we want it to be about skills, as much as we want it to be about like, hey man, I wish I could play that lick that you just played, it is not about that. I specialize in like the most niche music ever. I specialize in ska and reggae music, which like ska is not even really popular anymore. And I don't
pick it up.
Yeah. And so, yeah, exactly. And so, all the stuff, all the licks and all that stuff, I don't really use that stuff in what I actually do. But the biggest thing that that's what people know me for. The biggest thing that people don't know me for is that I can try to be like a chameleon. So I can jump into different, like I can play a rock session and try to own it and like play it correctly, or I'm not, but there's other, okay. So what my point is, I'm not trying to talk about me.
You have like lots of styles going on.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is I like the drummers that I like I love Bill Stewart. I think he's one of the most incredible jazz drummers ever. If I could sound like Bill Stewart, I've made it. But I don't play like Bill Stewart. And so I also don't go for those kind of gigs because that's not my thing.
Yeah, I don't think anybody plays like Bill Stewart though.
Right. But then like or for example, like I like Matt the guy from Animals as Leaders. Matt Garska.
Oh, yeah.
I can't play like Matt Garska. I don't play in math rock, you know, Animals of Leader bands. And I would, and like, even if I got called for that, I would be like, dude, that's just not my thing. Like, you got to call somebody like Matt Garska. So you have your thing, you know, and those are the types of gigs. Those are the types of things that you're going to be going for. You're not going to be going for a gospel chop gig at a church or like, you know, a jazz gig or something, because that's not your forte. That's not what you do. But what you do people will recognize you for that, and you have that, you have that dialed.
I think I've always, and it's more so listening to you guys right now. I appreciate all that, by the way. I had never wanted to admit it, but I think I have a pretty huge case of imposter syndrome.
I think we all do. Man.
Everybody does.
Yeah, like I'm just.
Yeah, that's a shared symptom.
I like over these last decade of being sober, I've really gone into my fears and stuff, and I think that's one thing that I vow right here and right now to just to head. I'm just afraid to say, hey, I'm a drummer and I'm capable of doing that. And I don't know why, because it's probably out of everything in my life, probably like the best thing I am at. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm a pretty damn good wrestler. I was always good at wrestling. And I was always good at drumming. And I just, I'll go wrestle anybody. But when I get in a room with a bunch of drummers, I'm kind of like, if you guys take it from here,
yeah,
I'll just sit back and I don't know. Like,
have you tried drumming in your wrestling outfit? That might be the secret.
Yes, I have actually.
That's such a great point that you're making, though. That is the whole reason why my company's core value is belonging, or acceptance, or camaraderie over competition. The whole reason for that is because I also have the same problem. And it all honestly wasn't until probably maybe a year before Chops and Coffee started, that I started trying to overcome that and just stop caring about it so much. But even, I mean, it comes back strong, like when I go to a shed or something. That's why I go to those sheds, to really just be like, I belong here. I've played, like, why am I shrinking back from some guy that can play lots of chops and licks when he doesn't have a gig? He's never been on a tour. He's never done a recording session. He's never done anything professionally. He just can play really fast. Why am I?
He's probably looking at you going like, man, Corey's awesome.
Well, but the most important part is that we have to tell ourselves that, we don't have to be arrogant. And that's the problem, is we all want to be very humble. And we all want to be like, no, man, you, like, you're the one, you're better than me. But at the end of the day, we have to have confidence in what we do too. Like, we don't have to be arrogant. We don't have to be like, I'm the best drummer in the world, but we do want to be like, I know what I'm capable of. And I know when it comes to ska and reggae, I can play in the room with any ska and reggae, even the Jamaicans that play that music, and do it and not be scared, but like when it,
as drummers, I think out of any instrument, like when we're in a band situation, we have to earn the other, like we have to put everybody at ease. Like, don't worry, I got you guys. Like, we're the guys that are holding it down, right? So if we're not confident, then how is anybody going to walk on stage with us and be like, oh, damn, I hope we hold it together tonight? Like, I think it starts with us being confident, walking on stage saying, I got you guys. Like, let's rock this.
Well, the thing is too, dude, like what I always tell my students is that, you like, if they like, we've been doing like some video recordings for them and stuff. And I'm like, they get so nervous when the lights are on and it's like they're in a different space in the studio and it's like the cameras and everything is set up professionally. Yeah. And then we hit record and they're like, oh my God. I'm like, look, you've been working on this for months. Like, this song and all the things, we've worked on every single part of this in your lessons. You've paid me to show you how to do this. So you have nothing to worry about. All you got to do is just close your eyes and do it. And that's the thing with you and with all of us, man. We put in the work to be better drummers when a lot of drummers don't put in the work. A lot of drummers aren't up early in the morning to start their day off doing something like this. A lot of drummers are lazy and don't want to put in the work. Or a lot of drummers want to just go shed, but not really learn how to read or learn how to, what they're playing and how to play it correctly. But I think that you do that, man. You've been doing that, and you put in the work in other ways. You put in the work in like being sober, which is a big part of it. You put in the work in being able to like help others, to like, encourage others. And that's a big part of it. And then getting along with others is a huge part of it. That's like 50% of it. Like, it's like 50% of being in a band or going on tour.
I think that's
absolutely.
nail on the head was I have been like for those years and years.
Up, frozen. Oh man. Am I frozen or is no, you guys aren't frozen. He's frozen.
No. I hear you. I think Daryl's just frozen.
Okay. Well, while he comes back with that thought, I'm gonna pull it up, the sheet music, so we can get started.
I'm actually gonna pull up.
There you are. We got frozen for a second.
Yeah, there you are, Daryl.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how far you guys got, but like, yeah, just like good enough to be in the band kind of deal for years and years and years. Never learned how to write or read and write and music. And yeah, that's why it was a big thing for this. Your acceptance, #acceptance, is the story of my music career. Like basically as a kid, just guys who I looked up to kind of didn't really have the respect. It was just kind of like, yeah, you're nobody until you're somebody kind of deal. And
Yeah.
stop bothering me kind of deal, or judgments and stuff like that. So
I dealt with the same thing in my band that I was when I was touring when I was younger. And I didn't know, it was like the only band I really toured with. And I thought, it was just, this is what bands are, and then I didn't realize that like the negative vibe that I was getting in the band, like not mean, it was just, they wouldn't let me be like, I couldn't contribute in a like artistic or creative way. I just had to play drums.
They wrangled you.
Yeah. It's exactly. and so I didn't realize like the idea of like positivity until I quit that band and started touring with another band. And then the difference in like everything that I was about, like the difference in mentality, in like a couple of the guys were also like into cycling. It was super positive, like a brotherhood vibe in the band. And it was like so pleasant to be on tour. Or like, and then I toured with another band, and then their thing was they were like a dysfunctional family, but they had like a real, if you're on tour with us, you're a part of our family. And like everybody outside of this tour is not part of our family. And they really like made you feel welcome. And then as soon as the tour was over, it was like they didn't know you, but you weren't in the family. You know what I mean? Because I was just a hired gun for that. And but I appreciated that because that was different from what my other band that I was in was like. It was just kind of every man for himself. We would finish rehearsal, and it wasn't even like we'd hang out and have a beer or whatever. It was just like we'd finish rehearsal and everybody would just like disperse without even saying bye. It was just like get in your car, leave, goodbye.
I'm usually the everybody else's ride
Yeah.
to and from rehearsal, so we have a forced fellowship.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it just helped me to like realize that like, man, I need to be in the right place. I need to do things kind of by my rules, and if I'm not comfortable, then I'm out.
It's a hard thing to balance. Like talking about earlier now, outside influence and your eternal and dedication, and the outside stuff. That's what's happening now in most states, is like with the imposter syndrome. We're exposed to so many like other people, sources, things like that. So like, you see everything. You're like, I can't compete with all this stuff. So you got to balance it with yourself and that. And also, like you said, but then you still have to do it, because this is how you realize that it's not just that one view you had from like your first band to everything else. It's a hard balance.
One thing that someone said to me about social media once was that social media is you comparing your blooper reels to everyone else's highlight reels.
Pretty
And
much.
that always made me think, it's like when people put stuff out on social media, they are putting out the best stuff that they have, what they're best at, the stuff that they've really worked on. And it when you see video after video after video of stuff like that, you're like, wow, everyone just does this. This is, everyone just sits at home and sheds on this one thing and does this and you kind of lose track of where your own sense of development and growth is, because you're like, well, wait a minute, I didn't do this. I can't, like, I'm not interested in sitting down and learning this groove for 6 hours or whatever. And it's not until you find the thing that you're like, oh, I am interested in doing this for 6 hours, that you know, everyone has their own thing to music that they can contribute, that they can say, oh, this, you know, this is what I, you know, this is what I can put my whole body and my whole spirit, my whole mind into. And it's, I think we get caught up in the fact that we see so many different aspects of it, and we say, well, that's not really for me. And we kind of feel like we're pushed to, you know, be like, oh, well, what is your thing? What do you do? How do you do it right? But everyone has their own way of getting into that state of mind where you're like, okay, this is where I'm doing the things that I'm good at, and that I, you know, really feel like I'm contributing something to my own musical development. And I think music is so much more of a personal journey than we've turned it into. It's become like a comparative journey, and I don't think it should be. I think music is all about collaboration, and is all about, you know, having your own experience and being able to talk about your own experience without saying that your own experience is the only experience.
Right. We've lost the art of it too. Like, especially drummers are not artists anymore. They want to be robots and play perfect time and play amazing chops. And then, you know, they like you to think that you flip on Instagram, you open Instagram, and they hit record on their camera and play this amazing lick. But dude, these guys are like, most of the time it's either like they've been trying that for hours and hours and hours, or it's they've been playing random stuff for hours and hours and hours, and that's just a clip of their best stuff, you know, like, so yeah, whatever. I'm still so annoyed with Instagram and TikTok and all of it. I can't.
It's bad for us, man. It's bad for us.
Handle trying to get verification from people for me being creative or playing.
Yep.
Drums.
Yeah, it's bad for you, in my opinion. So like putting yourself out there with the expectation that you will be appreciated for what you believe, you know, or what, you know, just when you put something out with the idea of wanting it to be good.
Exactly.
The internet is not an accurate reflection of whether or not something is good. You know what I mean? Whether or not somebody hears it, or you know, we kind of attach this importance, this weight to what, you know, strangers on the internet think.
Right. Or like how their algorithms work. You know, you play something that's difficult for you, or you put yourself out there, and then not as many people like it as you thought. But it's not because people wouldn't like it. It's just because their stupid algorithm, but that messes with your head, you know?
Absolutely.
I had a lot. So. All right, guys. So, man, I love that subject, man. Thanks for bringing that up, Daryl.
Just to let you guys know, I'm gonna have to probably at 11. I got a hard shut off, so
Okay.
I'm not be talking or anything. I'm not being rude. I just another appointment.
Yeah, all good.
Happy when this is over.
Let's get this.
Let's hit some stuff.
Things. Let's go back to what we were doing on let's see. Yeah, last on Monday. This one. I love this one. I love the idea of this, playing diddles on your kick. If we do it linear too, I love that. I think that was a great idea. I don't know who brought that up, but I think
it's Nat.
Yeah. So Nat always, I love Nat, just chimes in and is just like, yeah, we should try this. Boom, sprinkles it in there and then leaves. Like, he's like not here. It's so funny. All right, so same thing that we did on Monday. I think all you guys were here Monday, so we're just gonna do the check patterns. Did we do this one or did we do a different one? I don't remember. But we're gonna play this linear. So we're gonna, instead of playing our hands, we're gonna play our kick as the diddles and then play the hands. I think we were looking at another sheet though.
Yeah, we did this one also.
We did this one also, but
yeah.
What was the other sheet though? Well, it's the same idea. This is telling us to play single strokes, so you guys can play single strokes. I like playing them in unison. I don't have a pad on my kick, so it's gonna probably be overbearing from my pad on my snare. Anyways, let's go. Let me get a metronome, and let's just do all of these let's do this all the way down, but let's do this whole sheet 4 times. So can we do this at 80? Let's see. Does that seem too fast? If we're doing singles, that's not too fast.
Maybe a little slower.
Okay.
For
We're doing unisons, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, and for the diddles, if we're gonna do it 4 times.
Yeah. So I'm doing the diddles with my feet.
So the diddles, it will be a 30-second though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Should I go slower? Let's go 5 slower. That's 65. All right, you ready? 4 times all the way through. 1, 2, ready, go. 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. That's good. It's better to on the turnaround with the check pattern. 1 and a 2 and a 3. This is 3. Last time. Hey. All right, very cool. Such a unique exercise. Like I would never think about that like that. I would never think about playing the diddle on my kick. So cool. All right, let's try that same thing one more time, but let's go a little faster now. Let's go 75. Need some coffee. I think I need to try this. All right, anyways, let's try it. Ooh, that's fast. 1, 2, ready, go. That one's hard for me. Three. Last time. Oh God, I messed it up. I'm on measure 4 now, I think. 5. Oh my God, messing all of them up. Last measure, here we go. 1, 2, 3. My email flipped the beat for me. Lame. All right. Well, anyways, I love that. That's a great, really great warm up if you're playing in unison and it gets your feet warmed up. That was a little fast for the last one. It wasn't really like an accuracy exercise. So slower tempo would be probably good for this. And like this slow would be good. Yeah, I like that. That'll really help in a lot of different ways. Let's go on to another one.
Doing it linearly is really good. Also, doing it just playing straight through also helps a lot.
Yeah.
That'll get you used to playing your kick and everything at the same time.
That's how I was doing it.
Yeah, early.
Now I'm stuck.
Yeah,
There you go. So I have that written out, but as just singles, like on a different sheet. And I could never play it. It was really hard for me to play when years ago.
To put this into like getting it from like a practice into something more musical, putting like you said unison, but putting them on different instruments while you're doing this is really good. The linear one is cool too, but doing that.
Yeah, you can use a lot of those for solos because if you're doing it linear, man, it just makes it so different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, you can do these kick permutations as diddles too. So like sorry. Wow, that's hard. What's this one? Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting. That's cool. All right, so we did this last time. Here, let me make it a little smaller so it's not blocked. There we go.
I was wondering if you can for later on. I don't know if the sheet music is already made, but if you can maybe add the what is it? Is it not a quarter note, but a dotted eighth note going through? I don't know if you've done those before.
Dotted eighth note. That's not it. So like this one. Dotted eighth.
I think. Oh no! So it'll be a regular 4/4 pattern, but you're playing so it's a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4.
On the are you saying this on the hi-hat?
No, on the kick drum.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, it's a little because it goes across the bar line for like 3 until it gets to the third measure. Then you're back on. Then your kick is back on the 1.
So okay, so like if we did it like here, it would be not on the but it would be like
so it'll start, if you do a measure 4, your kick will be on the first downbeat 1.
Okay.
Then it's where it is right now on the and then it will be
1 E and okay 1 E 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E okay, so
that gets you
1 E and 3 oh man, that's hard. 1 E 1 so I have to do 16 notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E wow, that's so hard, man.
I was working on that yesterday with the with that same pattern with the 3/16 notes at the beginning. So it's all.
Oh my god!
You gotta get it. You gotta get into it. It takes a long time to get into it.
You're doing this.
Yeah.
Oh my, no way. I have to really work on that.
That was you had the first 3 notes already, man. Yeah,
Yeah. There's a. Oh man, where's the sheet?
but I went with that because that's what we were working on before. You can always definitely do the quarter notes, eighth notes. You know, you could do the subdivisions on the hats.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. If you can hear it. So.
That's cool too.
That's just.
Wait.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's so dope, dude.
Yeah.
It's almost like the first half of a 7 groove.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's stuff from you and stuff from Rich that I've taken and try to make
So great.
playable.
That's so great. So oh, okay. Your kick is going every
Every 316.
3/16 notes. Okay, so you're putting an odd grouping over those. 3/4. Oh, it's a 3/4 pattern.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But then you keep
So then you can do the same thing with the 7s that Adam's always talking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
This-
that goes over my head.
that dude. This is what I'm saying about drumming, though. Yeah, I can't play that right off.
Yeah.
Like,
But
this
that
is what I'm
would
saying.
yeah, that's good for like Latin drumming is what I was trying to tell you guys. Like it gets you so I have a like
Oh yeah.
see even when you put it on a different sound source it trips you up or me.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
But that'll be like another progression to put into this thing.
Well, if we're doing that, this stuff is going to be just a piece of cake for us now. So let's do this. I call it cheesy bread, but 2/16 notes, eighth note. One E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 1 E. Okay, yeah. I have to. Oh yeah, I said that we would. I don't know where it is though. I said we were gonna play it with the music today, and then I don't with the music.
It's all good. So I was doing that yesterday, and then I remember also the Natifier with the diddle. So I try to do the 3/4 thing with the diddle and the bass drum. That's gonna take me a while.
So every so those are all diddles.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's gonna take a long time.
oh my God, no way.
That's what happens. Your brain you start getting into this 1 and 2 and 3 and you start
Yeah.
getting into the like samba thing instead of actually doing the dotted eighth notes.
Right. That's some like Virgil Donati sounding stuff, man. That's like the stuff, and then he'll do that for a while, and then he'll start playing dual like another rhythm on both of his hi hats. You know, it's crazy. We have one. I have one. I can't. I have to remember it. I was a bass player I play with where we do some song and we do a rhythm like that like it turns around like every 2 bars or something like that. It's pretty cool, but I can't think of it offhand. All right, let's get on this before Daryl has to roll. So 4 times each, and then we'll do it. Let's do it 2 times around. So 4 times each, 2 times around. 4 times each measure, and then the complete 4 measures 2 times around. That's what I mean. Let's do eighth notes. So, that a good tempo for everyone? Okay. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4. Oops. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, drums. 2, 3, 4. Three, 4. Yay.
I really dig that last measure.
Yeah, me too. On Friday, I'll try to have the music to accompany it. But like when we have the music to it, it feels so great. Like for some reason, putting the kick on the like that, it's dope.
I gotta fly, boys, but thanks.
All right, man.
Today was awesome.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks, Daryl, man. Thanks for coming.
Always good to hang, Daryl.
Yep.
Yeah. Very cool. This one might be hard for me, so. Okay.
Yeah.
The hardest part for me on this one is going to be not swinging the
Exactly. Yeah.
the second. I mean, honestly, when I'm trying to practice samba, the hardest part is getting fast and not going spangalang. And like my hand doesn't do it. It like anytime I try to go fast enough to hit those 16th notes, it's like, oh, we're playing swing, cool.
Yeah.
Don't go too hard on yourself. We're on the wrong side of the equator for that.
Exactly. I told you guys how I have a student that's Brazilian, but he lives in Australia, and like I always go, I'm like, he's my, I'm his teacher, but I always go, yeah, man, like, your samba rhythms. And then I start playing something and he just like laughs like, it's cute, man. But like, no, that's not, like, hate that. It's just not, it just doesn't have the feel if you're not, from there. All right. So let's do the same thing 4 times each. I might fumble through this one. I'm not, I use this a lot with reggae. So I'm like really comfortable with that rhythm, but not as comfortable with the other one. So let's try it. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Man, it's hard. 4. Again. Oh my goodness, that was taxing. That was taxing on my brain.
I think that's a good speed for us.
Yeah.
For someone learning more, maybe a little slower, but these are the speeds that you need to execute the stuff with your brain first
Right.
before you try to like put it into your hands.
Yeah, I agree.
It's good.
And
I
that's
like.
it's a good group. It's a group. It's a good like when you have time to just sit on each measure for like
Yeah.
as long as you want and just sit, like you really that's a nice tempo to just set up a nice groove, man. So then now the next one is really hard. That one I have to work on. So
Oh, okay. That's what that is, right?
Oh man, that's really hard. I never really use that rhythm. Yeah, that's an odd. I think it's written kind of oddly, isn't it? I don't. Yeah, it's 16th note, 8th note, 16th note. So it should be like 1 E, a 2 E, a 3 E.
Yeah, I thought it was like triplets for a second.
Yeah, it's really written weird on this thing. 1 E. So yeah, it should be maybe like what would make it more.
I'll be right back, guys. Sorry.
Okay, what would make it I think a little bit more understandable is maybe like 16th note, dotted 16th note might be like a letter. I don't know. How would you write it in horn if you had that rhythm?
Well, with a horn, it'd be a little bit more complicated because we'd want to emphasize the space in between. So it'd probably be 16th, 16th, 16th rest, then another 16th.
Oh yeah.
But with drums, you don't really want to have as many like rests kind of cluttering up the bar. So
Okay.
I think honestly, this is probably how I'd write it, because it lines up the downbeats
Yeah.
with the quarter and the thing. It just looks a little strange because we've got the 3 notes together without it being a triplet. So you see those 3 together, you're like, oh, it should be a triplet kind of figure, kind of in your head. But once you know where it is and where the downbeats line up, I think that's probably how I'd write it.
I think it's weird putting an 8th note in between those. It's like
Right.
So when I'm explaining this to like some students, I normally write it like that with a 16 note rest.
Right.
I guess you can do like a dotted 16 note too, right? Would that work? Let me see. Like in the middle.
Dotted 16th is what, 3 32nd notes, a 16th note and a half. So I think that.
Oh yeah, it's a 16 note and a half. Sorry, no, that wouldn't work. That doesn't make sense.
I think it would either have to be the way it is or change the middle one into a 16th note and put a rest. Yeah. Otherwise, because we've still got 2 half of an 8th note and 1 8th note combined. That's 1 beat.
So this one makes so much sense, right? But it's literally
exactly. So, it's literally the exact same thing.
Okay. Yeah. Putting a rest makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I like this. I mean, I'm still kind of working through this sheet too, but I want to add more to it and start putting doubles in. Like I was talking about 2 16th notes, starting off like all the way back up here. Well, if we're looking at this one, it's easier, but starting off with 2 16th note kicks and then moving one of them over.
Oh, okay. So boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Boom. Okay, gotcha.
Still keeping these same rhythms on our hands, and then doing it where the first 16th note is on the E, and then it moves over again.
Oh, Jesus.
Then like again, then it starts from each point, where it's just like
that's a building block for sure. If you can do that, you can put that kick drum anywhere you want to.
Right, exactly. And then the possibilities are endless, like I always say.
Exactly.
It's like 3 kick drums and every variation of that.
Once you've got the vocabulary, it's you can say whatever you want.
Right. No. All right, gentlemen, that was really fun today. I know we spent a lot of time talking and not a lot playing, but I like it either way, man.
They're both just as important, I think.
Yeah. So the hang is a big aspect of this, and I love it. And anytime I can I can kind of spread that idea of, my favorite thing is when there's another drummer that's had the same feelings or like struggles that I've had or I have. It's really important for me to use this platform and really important for me to use the Drum Brigade, community to help that person, so, or just to promote that person or just to, that this is the place for that. So I like, that's a special one today for me,
Absolutely, man. I think the more that we're able to talk about stuff like this, the more we realize how much we're all feeling the same thing. And
Yeah.
like we can get caught up in like, oh man, I'm the only one that like isn't keeping up or isn't, on top of it. And we all feel like that. And it's really important for us, especially as a community of musicians, to kind of be real about how we're all feeling about the state of the industry and about, the way things are going, because that's the only way things are going to change is if we have conversations about it. And we, like speak to other like-minded musicians and we kind of get how we're all feeling so that we can move forward in a way that works best for everybody.
Yeah. I think like Daryl's first Chops and Coffee, he said that he was like kind of waiting in the waiting room and was not really feeling like he was going to come in. He was like, I'm
Wow.
not going to go in with a lot of other drummers and like I just don't feel like they're going to rip me apart and and I'm like, and so then it was one of the first ones that we started, and I came on and said, my spiel about how this is built on acceptance and belonging and making drummers feel like they belong here and blah, blah, blah. And he was just like, these are my people, like, and so that was like a manifestation for me, like a fulfillment of a manifestation of like, man, this is like, it was such a big deal for me, for him to feel like he can come in and participate.
Sure.
And I'm like, I can't tell you how many times I've felt exactly the same way, where I'm not going to play in front of all these drummers. There's no way, and so I still feel like that, when Rich came in and, and it's like, he's coming into, something that I started or Adam came in or like Dave, these guys have a lot of credentials and like,
Yeah.
And Nat's been a mentor of mine since I was a kid, and so that's why he's always given me a hard time, but it's like, it's like he was my dad's drummer. And so he was always kind of like, I would always have to sit in on his drums. And so for me to be leading something, it's really intimidating, man. So it's like, I share that imposter syndrome with, all of us. And this has been a really great thing for me to, it's helped with my confidence with teaching and helped with my confidence with, leading groups and playing and being able to jump into something and not be, have that fear or that fight or flight, feeling of like, I just got to get out of this, like so it's good stuff.
The ultimate point is that we do this because we love to do it, and anything that kind of pushes against that feeling of like, oh, wait a minute, I'm doing this because I like to do it, not because I have to do it or because this is the only thing I can possibly, like, we have to maintain the joy, otherwise we're wasting our time. You know what I mean? There's no point in playing music if you're not doing it because you want to do it.
Right. And that's the thing, man, is
if you're doing it because
like when we start streaming this, it's like, there's still a lot of people that watch, but don't want to join, and that's fine. And I'm not calling any of you, especially you guys streaming with us right now, I'm not calling you guys out, but what I do like is, I don't get paid for this. None of us get paid to be here. But there's benefits for me in other ways. And one of the things that I really like is like people start asking me questions about, like, from watching the stream, like people have asked about you, Jeffrey, like, hey, who's the guy from New York? And I'm just like, oh man, he's just one of the dudes, dude. He's like, you could come in and meet him,
Just a random regular dude, man.
but New York Jeff.
Yeah, dude, it's cool. Like, I that's what I want. At this point, it's like, this is our community within the community. And if it helps everybody else to be like, hey man, I saw you on that Chops and Coffee thing, or I saw you explain this thing, then dude, that's what it's about. That's even cooler, so hopefully that happens more. I like that. So anyways, yeah, man, I appreciate it. And thank you guys for showing up. Everybody streaming with us, thank you guys too. And of course, as I always say, you guys are welcome to join us anytime you want. It's free. All you got to do is just hit the link on Drum Brigade, and I'll send you the link to the Zoom meeting. So, all right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and then I'll see you guys on Friday.
Yeah, man. See you Friday.
Yeah, I'm off today, so.
Oh, nice.
I'll be drumming and producing.
Yeah,
there
cool.
you go. Hell yeah.
Have fun, man.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.